Hi everybody, it's Kelly from Let's Get Clacking, and in today's video we're going to go over a new craze that has stormed the market, and that is Spiral Betty. As you can see, we're going to go over exactly how to make this Spiral Betty shirt. Normally people use black designs on light colored shirts. However, I've used it a few times and I've got a few tips and tricks to switch up the way that you've been doing it, even though it's still brand new. It allows you to work on all different colors of fabrics, as I typically wear a lot of black. So when you're using that same method on black shirts, the colors tend to invert, which doesn't make it look that nice. The methods I'm going to go over today are usable on both Silhouette Cameos as well as Cricut machines. Don't worry too much about this being a design that's being cut with a cameo, as you can do exactly the same things with your cameo that you can with your Cricut. There are just a few different steps that you would need to take with your Cricut. I'm going to be showing a lot of the steps in Silhouette Studio, but I will give you the brief rundown of how to use it in Cricut Design Space. If you find this video useful, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know what you're going to use with the Spiral Betty design. Or if you've had any problems, maybe I can help. Even though I use a Silhouette Cameo on my channel, I try to cover a lot of wide range of topics that you'll be able to use on both your Cricut and your Silhouette, as well as business tutorials which will help you grow your small business and take it to the next level. So subscribe to my channel if those are the kinds of videos you want to see in the future. Well, let's get clacking. Using Spiral Betty is very easy. All you do is you drop and drag the photo. As an example, I've got this oryx from when I was in Namibia on holiday last year, and you click the tick button once you're okay with the scale, and it pretty much generates it for you. Then you can play around with the number of rings that you want. Obviously, the more rings you have, the more detail you get. However, this would be a nightmare to weed, so maybe stick to more the middle section. Then you have the scale. It's got to do with the photo, so if you want it more zoomed in, or if you want it how you wanted it originally. The lightness, just how light the actual picture will be once you press it or once you cut it. So I tend to leave that around the middle because that's fine. And then the contrast, how dark or how light you want the image to be. So I'm going to leave mine again in the middle somewhere because I feel that that's good. And then you click download. So it's fairly easy to use. If you're wanting to use it for vinyl on your t-shirts, then you can just keep it as it is. If you wanted to use it for sublimation, you could maybe change the colors a little bit, make them a little bit funky, maybe choose a nice ombre style, like one of these as an example. I mean, that would look incredible sublimated onto a t-shirt, but if you want to leave it just standard, we can just have it like this. However, there are some things that I've found for Spiral Betty that make it a little bit nicer. I tend to wear a lot of black, and when you're using Spiral Betty for black t-shirts using white vinyl, this doesn't work because the colors then tend to look inverted once you've cut it out. As an example, this. So this is the same design, just colored white. So I'm just showing you on a black background what it would look like with white vinyl on a black shirt. But when you invert the photo and then Spiral Betty it, then it comes out looking correct. So what I just did with this is I went onto an image invert website, dropped the photo in, it inverted the image for me, and then you download it, and then you load it into Spiral Betty. So it's just one extra step that you have to do, but it means that you can then use Spiral Betty on black t-shirts. The other way that I'm actually going to be using Spiral Betty, and I feel that this is a very nice way of doing your own kind of t-shirts, is by doing my company logo. So I'm just going to bring in the logo, drop it in there, and again, I've inverted this image because it's typically black on white, but I've inverted it so that I can use it on a black t-shirt. So I'm going to select OK. What I'm going to do with this one is I'm actually going to decrease the rings quite a bit because I like the kind of 8-bit vibe that it gives. I think it looks pretty cool. The scale is fine. The lightness, I might decrease a little bit just to make it a little bit easier to cut. And then I'll download this. Now I'm obviously going to be using this for personal use, not commercial use. If you want to use it for commercial use, you can, but then you can show the commercial options. You can buy a 1-year license or a royalty-free download. So I'm just going to be downloading it for personal use. Let's take this out and let's bring the other design in. So obviously this is in Silhouette Studio. If you have a Cricut machine and you want to use this, you'll just need to load it in as a complex design in Cricut Design Space and use the magic tool to remove the white background once you've loaded it in. And then you pretty much just cut it by selecting your vinyl type as you normally would. So I'm just going to trace the design. I'm just going to leave the threshold pretty much where it was. And I'm going to click trace. So I'm just going to simplify the lines so that it cuts a little bit easier, and it pretty much looks exactly the same, so it just works out a little better. I'm going to be doing it on a t-shirt roughly the same as this, so I'm going to make it 25 centimeters wide. Let's just remove the black background so that we can see where the design is. Let's actually just make it exactly 25. Perfect. I'm going to be cutting this out of HTV, so I need to make sure to flip it horizontally, and then we're going to send it to cut. Now that this has been cut, let's feed it. Luckily with HTV, it's nice and easy to see where the edges are, or where the edge is. I'm just going to cut off that little bit at the bottom. I can use this for another project. So what I like to do for these is to try and get the excess of the outside off, and then to stop roughly where the bottom of the design is. So the edge is over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little cut mark from there. Then I'm going to weed it from this side. I just find it's easier to work with it, so you can cut off most of the excess. You can chuck this away, and then you don't have to worry about this huge bundle in your hand. But now for the super fun part. And with these, you always start weeding from the outside. Always. If you start from the inside and you pick up the wrong thread, then you unravel your entire design and you have to cut the whole thing over again. So take my word of advice, start from the outside. I'm actually going to stick this down. This is not the normal type of thing that I weed. You can do it on your mat, but I don't really like doing that, purely because then you end up touching your mat a lot, which takes more of the sticky off. So I'd prefer to not do that. Now I'm going to tape down all of the corners, and then we go. This is what happens when you have a dirty mat. Doesn't quite cut through in just tiny few places. My mat is quite dirty. It desperately needs a clean. And there you have it, folks. So simple. So now we can go and put this on the t-shirt and it will look amazing. Okay, so it's already on the press. I'm going to pre-press the t-shirt just to release any moisture. Then I press it for a seam. Then I take this, fold this in half, remove hair. And then we press. Press again just for extra luck. And our t-shirt's done. Ta-da! Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it and learned something new about how to use Spiral Betty. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe to my channel on that side. On this side, YouTube will show you my latest video, and just below that, something that they think that you'll enjoy. Well, until next time everybody, and remember, be kind to someone today. See you soon!